My name's Yancy, and I live by a simple philosophy that when you recognize that life is very short and very precious, you end up living, I guess, a more intentional life or a more directed life. My personal mission is to live life to the fullest. That's tricky because, for some people that means, I guess, delving into all the pleasures. That's not necessarily what I mean when I say living life to the fullest. I think living life to my fullest potential. What can I do to help others, to help leave the world a better place? What can I build? What can I create to help involve others in that mission? And of course, I have a family as well, so it's important to me to bring them up and to bring my sons up in a way in which they will continue on with that mission if they so choose. I was attracted to entrepreneurship early, but I didn't really trust myself. My father was an entrepreneur, so maybe some of it's genetic, but also I think entrepreneurs, or at least I can speak for myself, a lot of times people will suggest that I'm taking risk and I don't recognize it as risk. It looks like opportunity for me, and so it took a while to realize that it was entrepreneurship that I was built for, but I did know really early that I never wanted to work for anybody, and I told that to my parents. I'm not sure exactly how old I was, but one of my sons told me that when he was about 9, so I figure maybe it starts around then. There's been several times I've taken risk that has paid off. Again, it's hard for me. It's almost as if it's not a risk whenever it's taken. It just feels as though it has to be done. So I'll have opportunities or ideas or things in which I think just have to happen. And it might appear risky from the outside, but for me, it just seems to be necessary. Entrepreneurship is really about finding who you are and finding what problems you're well suited to solve for others. Oftentimes in entrepreneurship, you're going to experience failure, and that's okay. It's good to find the failure. It's good to find the no, so to speak, whenever you're pursuing a goal or pursuing a problem or trying to start a company. You have to find people to say, no, that won't work, or else you won't know where the boundaries are that you need to push through to get to where you need to go. If people were to think that entrepreneurship is easy, or that entrepreneurship means you get to work whenever you want, from wherever you want, well, that's not necessarily the case either, because oftentimes in entrepreneurship, you're gonna work all the time. But if it's something you should be doing, and if it's something you're passionate about, it doesn't feel like work. I'm most proud of, I think, my sons, first of all. I take a really intentional approach to parenting, and each and every year seeing them grow and develop. Obviously, I can't take all credit for that because of their own people as well, and they have to make their own decisions, but I am proud of how they're developing. I'm also really proud of the team that I have helped to put together at Oath. We're up to 100 folks now, or 100 people who are working on the team, and they're just incredible. They share a common set of values that we've all worked together over the years to develop, and it's really impressive to see them work independently and work together. Putting that team together is something I'm most proud of. Oath came about really, I should probably take us back all the way to undergrad. So I was one of those kids who didn't know what they wanted to do with their life. I knew what I didn't want to do, which was at the time I didn't want to get boxed in. And so, picking a major that would lead to an occupation didn't seem right to me. For me, I just at that age didn't know what I wanted to do, but I did know that I wanted to discover the truth of the thing, whatever truths were out there. So I ended up in philosophy. When I graduated, none of the big philosophy firms were hiring, so to speak, right? There aren't any philosophy firms. And so I took a year off and I tried to figure out what I wanted to do. I ended up going to law school. In law, I learned a lot of different ways to create businesses. And so after law school, I delved into entrepreneurship. I did some software startups, had some failures. And whenever I decided to come back to Tulsa, I looked at the market and really just asked myself how I could help. One of the things I learned in law school, again, was this Stoic philosophy that whenever you recognize life is short, that you live a better life. And so I reflected on what area of the law I would want to practice. And I thought a couple of things. One, I thought that the estate planning would be a growing market and more people would need help. And the other thing is I thought that might be the one time where I could help to talk to somebody through the law about how they could better change their life, change the trajectory of their life. Because most people don't want to talk about the day that they're gonna die. That's just something we want to quickly forget when it does come up. But when it comes to estate planning, I mean, that's what they're there to talk about. And so I thought, well, maybe I can have a unique conversation, not just help somebody with their will and their trust, but help somebody to determine what's really important to them and what's really meaningful to them. Perhaps in that conversation, if you have it thousands of times, you'll end up, helping some people to make a little shift. And who knows what all those little shifts will end up doing to the world. You can help them to, reconnect with a loved one, or if you could help a client to, endeavor to take that trip that they've always dreamed of. I just thought it would be super cool to see the effect of that after, a number of years. And so that's what we did. We're working with thousands of clients each year. It's a lot of really cool conversations and a lot of people who are helped, because that's not just the clients we're helping, but also their families. So, you start to talk about an impact of hundreds of thousands of people. Yeah, something that the team can be proud of.